Hey everybody, Tim Higgins, Secretary, District 25's Technology Department, and I am fresh off of ICE, and I was just looking to share a little bit of what I learned there. One of the sessions, my last session actually on Friday, was about copyright and licensing of media for all sorts of use, which I know sounds extremely boring, but it's actually pretty important in our digital age where it's really easy to cherry pick and pull and grab stuff from the internet and use it for our own, whether it's presentations, projects, things like that. I think it's important for the people to be aware of it, and I really think that it's important that we sort of set the behaviors and the habits, I guess, in ourselves and in our students, so that we kind of create this culture where we're responsible and respectful of other people's intellectual property, because that's kind of how we would want people to deal with our own stuff. And so Melissa Rosen, District 70, put together a nice presentation that I sat in on Friday, and I'm going to show you a couple of things that she showed, and then just pass along some of the cool resources to learn more about it, as well as how to go about finding content that don't have to worry about somebody holding a copyright on it, and for you or anybody to be liable in any way. So we're going to jump into it. Awesome. So here it is. Copyright Explained, which was the presentation last Friday at ICE by Melissa Rosen about copyright and sort of the related areas of it. And I'd like to just again point out, I am not an attorney, nor is Melissa Rosen, both in sort of the education and then media areas. Not legal advice, but just sort of good practices in sort of trying to navigate through this very confusing, very gray area sort of a world. And so, started off defining copyright, a legal right created by the law of a country that grants the creator of an original work rights to its use and distribution. So it's just giving somebody who makes something the rights to that thing. Fair use then is sort of kind of a nice legal protection of areas of the world where they should have access to this sort of media for different reasons, like for education, for reporting in terms of passing information along, and then commenting and questioning different media and different aspects of our culture and our world. So fair use is actually one of the ways that we can, in education, have a right to being able to use this content, but it comes with some caveats. It can be used in those areas, which is this middle section of this diamond here, but it has to be, either a small amount of it, or new meaning has to be attributed to it to make it original, things like that. So it has to be sort of changed up in certain ways, so that it's not just taking Star Wars and then just using it as Star Wars for yourself. And really it all comes down to this idea where it's just being responsible. It's us, and as adults being responsible, teaching by example to the students who the idea here is just that we want to respect people who create things, because if we create something, we want to be respected as well. We want the credit for it. We want to be able to make money from it if it's something like that. So just being responsible and giving credit and checking who owns things. It's as simple as sending an email, making a phone call to ask for permission, and oftentimes the creator will be like, absolutely, I would love for you to be able to use it, especially in the realm of education. And so asking for permission, paying money if required, it's just kind of the right way to go about it, doing your due diligence. Now, there's sort of another sort of nice sphere of this whole world in this idea of Creative Commons, which is giving, it's basically licensing content to the public as long as you follow specific guidelines as to how to use it. And there's some great sites. Some of the great sites you might already know about have different ways of getting content that is that falls under Creative Commons. Vimeo, one of them, which does a really great job of explaining it as well. So here on Vimeo, if you search Vimeo/Creative Commons, you get these different headers of different types of videos that are on here. If you click on the little eye, it'll explain sort of the requirements that they're asking you follow to be able to use this content. And it's typically just as long as it's not for commercial use, oftentimes if it's not changed, things like that. But you could read more of it on Vimeo. If you're looking for photos, a site called Morguefile is a great place. If you click on free photos, all sorts of very professional photos that you're able to use in all sorts of projects. Again, typically the big one is that it's not being used for commercial use to make money. And then one that I actually use all the time on a regular basis is Bensound. A great selection of very professional music for all sorts of different sort of emotional mood setting ideas. And if you click on download here, it says right there, free Creative Commons license, as long as you credit bensound.com in your video. And then Google, actually. So if we're looking to search for a picture of rabbits, if I go over here under search tools, I'm sorry, we got to switch to images. And then under search tools, you have this usage rights section where you can find things that are labeled for non-commercial reuse with modification, without modification, where you can then take these high-resolution photos, put them in presentations, use them for projects, so on and so forth. So Creative Commons, an awesome sort of almost loophole way around the whole copyright idea, and it's not even really a way around it. It's just a different way of content being available on the internet. And then, of course, there's public domain, which means that either the copyright is ended or nobody has ever held a copyright on it, making it free to use with no conditions attached to it. And so another great thing that Melissa passed along were some of these sources to go and actually learn more about copyright, about licensing, and then even actually also methods of then teaching it on to your students. So something cool I learned at ICE. If you have any questions, please email me here at thiggins@st25.org, or call me, or stop on by Dutton. Love to talk to you more about it. So that's my one of my great takeaways from ICE. Take it easy.